Chapter 5, Fire Toads. Den. The morning sun filtered through the small window, waking Ethan from a deep sleep. He stretched, feeling the soreness from yesterday's journey. The room was cramped, but it had served its purpose. He washed up quickly and headed downstairs. Aunt Greta greeted him with a warm smile. "Good morning, Ethan. Did you sleep well?" "Yes, thank you, Aunt Greta," he replied. "Where can I find breakfast?" "Right here," she said, pointing to a table laden with bread, cheese, and fruit. "Help yourself." Ethan filled a plate and sat down to eat, savoring the simple yet delicious meal. As he ate, he thought about his plans for the day. He needed to register as a hunter and start learning more about this world. Just as he finished his meal, Arya walked in. "Good morning, Ethan," she said cheerfully. "Ready for our adventure?" "Good morning, Arya." "Yes, I'm ready," he said, standing up and grabbing a simple cloth bag from the inn. Aunt Greta handed him with a smile. They left the inn and walked through the bustling streets of Arcadia. The city was alive with activity, vendors shouting about their goods and people hurrying to their destinations. It was a vibrant, colorful place, unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Arya led him to a large building with a sign that read, Hunters Guild. They entered, and Ethan was immediately struck by the sheer number of people inside. Hunters of all shapes and sizes were gathered, talking, laughing, and preparing for their missions. The language was entirely different from Earth, but he could understand it clearly as it was engraved in his mind. Arya guided Ethan to the registration desk, where a stern-looking woman sat behind a counter. "Hey, Melinda, this is Ethan," she said. "He's here to register as a hunter." The woman named Melinda's eyes softened when she saw who was speaking. "Is he a newbie, Anna?" Melinda asked, scrutinizing Ethan. "Yes, he is my new friend. Can you help?" "Is that so?" Ethan stepped forward, revealing a small smile. "Hello, nice to meet you, Miss Melinda. I am Ethan Smith." She also smiled back. "Oh, nice to meet you too. What a polite kid. Just like you, Arya. So, if you're a newbie, then you have to fill out this form," she said calmly. "Name, age, skills, level, etc. etc." Ethan took the form, filled it with his details, and handed it back to her. "All right, your hunter ID will be ready in a few minutes, then you can choose a F-class skill for free." Melinda replied curtly. As they waited, Arya explained more about the guild. Hunters take on various missions, from gathering resources to slaying monsters. It's a dangerous job, but it's also rewarding. You'll earn money, gain experience, and can even find rare items. Moreover, they are granted access to the dungeon for a fee as well. It was really convenient. A few minutes later, Melinda handed Ethan a small badge. "This is your hunter badge," she said. "Take good care of it, and you can choose one skill from these skills as per your liking." She displayed a few glowing books on the table. Fireball, Wolf Instinct, Tiger's Claw, Speed Boost, Body Fortification Basic, Swift Sword Strike. Ethan was amazed at the sight. Those glowing skill books were really tempting, but he could only choose one of them. Why is it always like this? He read the description and picked Swift Sword Strike from those. From the description, it seemed best for newbies. Fireball was a good skill, but it had no defense properties, while with Swift Sword Strike, he could attack and defend at the same time. Wolf Instinct was useless as it had no attack property. "Good choice, Ethan. It is the best choice for you," Arya encouraged him from behind. So, it was final. Ding. "Congratulations. You have acquired a new skill, Swift Sword Strike." Instantly, some basic info about sword flowed through his brain as if he had been trained in it beforehand. After the registration process, they went to a blacksmith shop to buy a sword. For Ethan, he had no money, so he had to ask Anna for help again. Arya lent it to him with no objection. To her, 10 silver coins were just like chump change. Appraisal. Iron sword. Metal grade, F. Attack power, 3. Durability, 10. Ethan bought a regular iron sword. Worth 10 silver coins, which was a lot. So, he reminded himself that he had to return the money to Arya someday. So, what do you plan to do next, Ethan? Arya asked as they left the blacksmith shop. Ethan looked around the market as he replied, I want to go to the dungeon. He wasn't completely sure though. He was a little scared, thinking about what might happen to him. He didn't want to die again, so he was hoping for Arya's help. Huh, Arya looked surprised. Dungeon, right off the bat. Won't it be dangerous? She looked worried. All right, Ethan, I will go with you, but only for today. What about that? Arya decided to help him at last. Ethan couldn't be happier. If she came with him, he would be at ease. Okay, thank you, Arya. Let's go, he urged, looking at the sun, which was about to set in a few hours. From there, guided by Arya, they headed to an F-class dungeon called Fire Toad's Den, the perfect place for newbies. The journey to the dungeon was filled with the sights and sounds of the city gradually giving way to more rugged, natural surroundings. The bustling streets turned into quieter paths lined with trees, and the air grew fresher. Ethan felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. When they arrived at the entrance of the Fire Toad's Den, he could feel a strange, ominous energy emanating from within. The entrance was a dark, gaping hole in the ground, surrounded by rocks and vegetation. This is it, Arya said, her tone serious. Remember, stay close to me and follow my lead. The fire toads are dangerous but manageable for beginners. Just be cautious. Ethan nodded, gripping the hilt of his new sword tightly. Got it. Let's do this. They entered the dungeon, and the temperature immediately rose. The walls were damp and covered in moss, and the air was thick with humidity. The only light came from the glowing crystals embedded in the walls, casting an eerie, flickering glow. As they ventured deeper, the sound of dripping water echoed around them, and Ethan could hear the distant croaking of the fire toads. Arya led the way, her movements confident and sure. Keep an eye out for any signs of danger, she whispered. The fire toads can be sneaky sometimes. Ethan nodded, scanning the surroundings nervously. Suddenly, a loud croak echoed through the tunnel, and a large, fiery red toad leapt out from the shadows, its eyes glowing menacingly. Get ready, Ethan, Arya shouted, drawing her weapon. Ethan took a deep breath and raised his sword, trying to steady his trembling hands. The fire toad lunged at them, its mouth open wide, revealing sharp teeth and a glowing, fiery tongue. It was about 3 feet tall, definitely bigger than average toads. Arya moved swiftly, dodging the toad's attack and striking back with her weapon. Aim for its eyes, Ethan. They're its weak spot. Quick, don't let it spit fire on you, she warned. Ethan nodded and lunged forward, swinging his sword with all his might. Swift sword strike. The blade connected with the toad's eye, and it let out a screech of pain. Thrashing wildly, huff, Ethan let out a sigh of relief at the sight. I can do this. He cheered himself before continuing his strikes. Good job, Ethan. Keep it up, Arya encouraged, remaining standby. She was here just to protect him, so she wouldn't interfere unless he was in some kind of danger. With a few more well-placed strikes, the fire toad collapsed, its body dissolving into a pile of ash and embers. Nice work, Ethan, Arya said with a smile. You're doing great. Ethan smiled, feeling a rush of exhilaration. Haha, thanks, Arya. That was tough, but I managed. They continued deeper into the dungeon, encountering more fire toads along the way. Each battle was a challenge, but with Arya's guidance, Ethan grew more confident and skilled.